this is a new video tutorial, crochet tutorial for this bag. It's a tulip stitch bag, and I had shown it in one of my other videos. A couple people had commented that they would like to see a tutorial on this, so I decided to do this as the next video. This was the original bag that I had shown in the video, and then this is the one that I made for the tutorial. It's just slightly different, like it's the same size and everything. I just used different materials. For this one, it's a little bit of a lighter green for the leaves, and then it's all made with acrylic yarn, and I also had lined it. And then this one that I made for the tutorial is made with cotton yarn. So the white is cotton yarn, and then the green and the pink is acrylic yarn. But I thought it turned out really cute, and I like the look of the cotton as well. Since it's a bag, it won't stretch as much as the acrylic, so that's what I used for this bag. The pattern is quick, it builds up really quickly. This bag probably took me like a few hours to make, but yeah, I thought it was a perfect bag since it's like the middle of winter in Canada. It's kind of nice to have something to look forward to, some sort of like spring floral pattern to do as we're like stuck in the middle of winter. Let me know if you have any questions about the tutorial in the comments. I will include all of the written patterns on the screen as I go, as well as in the description I'll have my materials and the abbreviations for the written pattern if you want to follow along. Yeah, so have a good time crocheting. Let me know how it goes. So I have all of my materials here for the bag. I have a white cotton yarn, and then I have a pink yarn from Loops and Threads, which is size 4. Make sure all the yarn is size 4, and then I have a green yarn from Loops and Threads as well. I have my 5mm hook, a tapestry needle, and a stitch marker. So starting with the white yarn, I'm going to make a slip knot and chain 44. So here's my chain of 44. I'm just going to chain 2 more for the start of the round. And then we're going to be working in the top loops of the chain, going across, and then as we turn around we're going to go through the back loops on the other side. So just yarning over, and I'm going to put a half double crochet into the 44th, so skipping the first 2 chains that we just did, going into the top loop, putting a half double crochet. And then I'm just going to take my stitch marker and mark the top of that stitch. I'm going to keep going along in the top loop of the chain with half double crochets all the way around. I'm just going to do 43, and this will take me to not the very last one, but the one before the last stitch. So I've now made my 43 half double crochets. Just the last stitch there, I just want to show, so there's a top loop and a bottom loop. There's the bottom loop, and we're going to put a stitch marker into the loop to the left of it, so not that first bottom loop but the second one. And then we're going to go into the top of the first loop on that last one and put 3 half double crochets into that space. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to be working along the bottom into the bottom loops. Starting with this first one, we're going to take that out and put it into that chain spot. I'm just going to weave in the end as I go as well, and then again into the next one into the bottom loop, and we're going to go along on the back side for 42 half double crochets. So I've just finished the row 42 half double crochets. I'm going to place 2 half double crochets into this spot. It's where we put the first half double crochet. It's kind of in that loop section. So I put 2 there, and then that ends the row. To start row 2, I'm going to take out the stitch marker and place a half double crochet into that spot so that we don't get a seam. And then I'm going to place that back into the top of the first stitch. So this begins the row. Then I'm going to place another half double crochet into that same spot. So we just did an increase. And then working along the side again, we're going to be doing 42 half double crochets. So I've just finished here the 42 half double crochets. Into the next 3 stitches, we're going to be doing half double crochet increases. So that's 2 half double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So I have 1 there, and then I'm putting another stitch in the same stitch, and then moving on, 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochet, 1, and then another one. And now we're just going to work along the other side doing 42 half double crochets until we get close to the end. So as I'm finishing up my 42 half double crochets, there are 2 stitches left. We're going to do the same increase, so 1 half double, 2 half double, and then into the last 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochets. Okay, and that's the end of row 2. For the next 3 rows, we're going to be working in each stitch around for 96 stitches, no increasing, just half double crocheting all the way around. So to begin that, we take out the stitch marker and place the first stitch while putting it back in, and then continue with our half double crochets. So off camera, I finished the 3 rows of half double crocheting. This now takes us to row 6, where we're not going to be using the stitch marker anymore. We're going to start by slip stitching into where that stitch marker was, and then we don't need these anymore, so I'm just going to toss them to the side. And now after every row, we're going to turn the work. So we're going to start by chaining 2 for our turning chain. And so the first stitch does not count as a stitch because that's where our chain is. We're going to go into the stitch after that into our half double crochets. And this is just going to be a round of half double crocheting all the way around. So again, 96 stitches. The only difference is we've turned the work now. So I've made it back all the way around. I'm just going into the last stitch here. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first one to connect the round. This is what it's looking like now. We're now going to cut the white yarn because we're going to be changing colors. Grabbing the green yarn here, I'm going to show you what I do to change colors so that we don't create any ends that we have to weave in. So I'm just going to hold the place where I last had that stitch right at the beginning, and I'm crossing over the green so that the white is on the bottom. I'm just going to pull it a little bit, and then we wrap the white around our yarn so it goes under both of the yarn pieces that we're holding on to, and then we wrap it around the green so it goes over top of the green yarn, and then we pull the green yarn through that loop and just pulling on the white yarn on the right and then pull very tight, and then you see how that knot does not come undone. I think it's called a magic knot or something like that, and so I use this when I don't want to have any ends to weave in. It just creates this sort of almost seamless look. So I'm just going to redo those stitches that I had to unravel. So there's 1, 2, and then just slip stitching again into the top of the chain. There we go. So now we can start with our next row. I'm gonna chain 3. And then turning our work, we're gonna be working into the stitches now. So the first one doesn't count as a stitch because it's the chain. We're gonna skip 2 stitches and go into the 3rd stitch with a double crochet. So yarning over and pulling through 2 loops and then 2 loops again. And then we're just going to chain 1 and put another double crochet into that same stitch. So it creates kind of a V look. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches again, going into the 3rd stitch with another double crochet, and then chaining 1 and putting another double crochet. So this is the pattern we're going to follow for the rest of the round. So as I get to the last stitch here, we're skipping 2 stitches and going into just that first chain stitch so that it creates our last V there, and then we slip stitch into the top of the first chain. So taking our green yarn and pink yarn, I'm going to show you again the magic knot. So we're just going to wrap it around both colors, wrap it around the pink, and then put the pink through the loop, and then pull on the green yarn at the bottom to tighten it. And then just cut the excess yarn. To start the next row, we're going to chain 3, and we're going to be doing the petals for the flower. So turning our work again, we're going to work into the V's. We're going to do double crochets, so yarn over and pull through 2, but we're not pulling through the next 2. We're going to just go right into the next double crochet and then do the same thing and repeat this so that we have 5 half double crochets in there. And then last one, and then now we have 6 loops on our hook, so we're going to yarn over and pull through those 6 loops. Then we're just going to chain 1, chain another one, and then go into the next V space. So again, with our double crochets, we're just not pulling through the 2 loops at the end, so just yarn over, pull through 2 loops to start, and then just go right into the next double crochet so that there's 5 of them in there. And we're going to yarn over and pull through those 6 loops. So if we flip it over, it creates a sort of puff stitch look. I'm just finishing up the last tulip. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch there to complete the row, and then we're just going to do the same magic knot to connect the white. So I just have to undo this first and then have the pink underneath the white and wrap the pink around both of the yarns and then around the white, pull through the white and pull on the pink. To start the next row, we're going to chain 3 again, turn our work, and we're going into the chain 2 spaces and then the top of the tulip stitch. So working with double crochets, we're going into that chain space and just putting 2 double crochets, and then into the top of the stitch there, we're going to put a double crochet. And then again, moving to the space, 2 double crochets. And then in the top of the stitch, a double crochet. And we're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around the row. So just finishing up with the double crochets. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first stitch there. Chain 2 this round and flip our work. And now we're just going to be working around doing half double crochets into each of the stitches. So we should still have 96 stitches. And when we reach the end of the row with our half double crochets, we're just going to slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. This is what it's looking like now after just completing that half double crochet row. We're just gonna continue and repeat row 7 to row 10, the green, the pink, and then the 2 white rows. And I'm gonna do that 5 times to create the bag. I'm now gonna show how to do the straps. I'm gonna leave a pretty long tail so that we can sew the straps to the bag at the end. I'm just going to create a slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 8. And then just skipping the first chain and going into the second chain, we're going to be putting half double crochets, and we're doing 7 across. Okay, we're just going to chain 1 and then turn our work and work again 7 half double crochets across. So just continue this pattern until you reach your desired strap length. I did 30 inches or 75 centimeters. So I have my finished bag and my straps. I just need to sew them together. I'm just going to make sure that these straps are lined up and they're not twisted. So they're nice and straight. I'm gonna use my stitch markers again, and I'm gonna count 7 stitches from the side. And then just in the 8th stitch, I'm gonna mark that and then place it in the first stitch on the strap. And then just do the same on the other side. And then just taking the tapestry needle, just working through sewing that together. So this is the finished bag after sewing on the straps and weaving the ends. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you liked it.